Oh, hi. So you know how in my last video I was like, hey, I'm feeling better overall. I'm like, there's still going to be bad days, but there's also still going to be better days. Well, this is a bad day at the end of a few bad days. I have had the absolute shit kicked out of me this week. Not physically, thankfully, though I have a giant bruise on my hip because I'm very good at walking into things that are like permanent fixtures in a room I spend a lot of time in. But rather than wallowing, I'm gonna snuggle up with a tea mug. Tea's nice, tea's comforting. It's like your hands are engaged in a hug, like a tiny warm hug. Sometimes tiny scalding hug, but you know, it's something nice. So we're gonna jazz these up. Here's what you need. Ooh, it's a little dusty. Clearly haven't been hitting the bottle hard enough. This is coffee I'm spiking, so close enough to tea. Everyone and their goddamn mother has done a Sharpie mug project. I haven't seen anything about like a tea service set. Why not? You know? Far supplies, a mug, a matching plate. I was trying to find something that had like a matching set with a little insert, like this tiny tea service set I was handed down from one of my ancestors. Is where my teeny tiny handmade Sama minifigure lives. She has a little badger on her shirt for us Hufflepuffs. And then a Sharpie in an oven. Seems pretty easy. Time, maybe, but that, I guess that goes for all projects, generally speaking. Because these are going in the oven. I'm gonna try to get these stickers off because, I don't know, I don't need to burn my house down. Maybe I should wash these too. All right, they've been rinsed. I'm gonna do oh, there's still some glue on this. I couldn't get it all off. It's definitely less than there was. Oh, hopefully there's not just a ton of smoke everywhere. It's gonna be fine. One of the things I excel best at is finding ways to set the smoke detector off. Not on purpose, obviously. Man, I am not the smartest as far as kitchen things go. By the way, did you know different oils have different smoke points? So like extra virgin olive oil will start to smoke at a lower temperature than, say, even regular olive oil, and like canola and vegetable oil. There's a chart somewhere out there on the internet that I referred to for this information in my own research, but it wasn't a thing I had ever thought to consider. So that helps me not set the smoke detector off when I'm cooking things at 450 degrees and they have a smoke point of like 325. Food math! All right. So, the actual inspiration for this project comes from my beloved Antoni Porowski from Queer Eye. Where at the end of one of the episodes, he explains that bringing out coffee and tea service at the end of a party is kind of a good signal to people, if they pick up on it, that things have kind of come to an end.
It tells my guests I'm sophisticated and thoughtful, but it also says, perhaps it's time to go. Coffee? Uh-oh, would be nice to leave.
I just love him so much. So I thought, rather than being very subtle and passive with bringing out just a mug and a plate, I'd be a little more direct and write some little love notes. So I've added my note on the mug. Something sweet. Let them know I appreciate that they came to spend time with me. Although I am realizing that even though the Sharpie does get baked into the mug, after time it'll start to wear out if it's a spot that like the liquid or your mouth goes. So maybe don't put it right on the edge here, or just like sip from where you didn't write it. But when I did a video on Sharpie mugs with Grant and Sama, which I'll link to somewhere up here or down here or both, porque no las dos, we did like a tea leaves Harry Potter version and we put fake dregs in the bottom, and it started to kind of wear off, which meant it was getting consumed, which is not the ideal situation. So maybe don't do what I did and place it a little lower. Maybe a little bit more like this. You mean the world to me. You'll notice I have left little ellipses at the end of both of these little sentiments because we're gonna have a little statement finisher on our plate. I just gotta kind of eyeball where the mug is gonna cover so that it's not gonna be visible when it's all together, but then when they go to lift it and look down at their plate, the message will be received. If you want to do some kind of design that involves like tracing around the bottom of the mug so you can for sure keep it within the parameters you need it, go for it. I'm just gonna kind of write pretty small, but sleep means more. Well, I did mean to write a different message. All I need to do is take, I guess newspaper will work for this, nail polish remover, and it'll come right off before it's baked. A little more to the point. I'm so glad we're friends, but kindly fuck off. and a little heart so they know that I'm not being mean. All right, and now it's time to put them in the oven, which I am realizing I do not have the time to do. So, for your own references, it is 30 minutes at 350 degrees, but you need to put them in as the oven is heating. Do not preheat them ahead of time. Put them on a tray, get them into the oven, then start the preheating process. And then also let them fully cool before you take them out. You don't want any fast temperature changes because these may crack. You don't want to like shatter a bunch of ceramic stuff in your oven and then like break the glass window on the oven and have to replace the whole thing. Basic project. I thought and still think this is pretty funny. I know I've probably said this a trillion times, but making stuff, regardless of where I'm at in life, always makes me feel better. Getting back to videos in some capacity will be good. I know this was more my old standard format. I really enjoyed, well, I like the format of the video I posted last week, the Let's Chat. I don't know if I need to title them that anymore. I don't know what else to title them, I guess. Stitch and Bitch, perhaps. Although it's not really complaining about things. Just talking while I'm working on things. Anyway, if you have ideas for that, let me know. And then the video before that was me talking about baked beans and testing some things out for like 15 minutes. So there will be different types of content going forward. I'm not going to promise weekly. I'm going to be putting more of myself back into this again. It's going to be nice. And I think I may open my Etsy shop back up as it is the giving season. If you are considering donating to my Patreon, feel free to come hang out over there because I'll be doing more stuff now. Also, feel free to reach out to me about possible commission works. I feel like I have the sewing confidence to actually handle those kinds of things now, depending on what it is, because, I mean, there's so many variables, but when I've tried to push that stuff before, I just didn't think I could really do it. So I think I'm at a place now where I'd be more comfortable taking that stuff on. Let's talk about stuff. And yeah, if you've done a Sharpie mug project, or if you are also a fan of the new Queer Eye series, I am so in love with it. I really like all 5 of them. I want to be Jonathan and also have a very big crush on Anthony. So I have a lot of feelings about that show. It's just so good. It just gets you right in the heart. It's a feel good in a lot of ways. Like the way Karamo and that cop talked really shook me in a good way. I think it's the kind of stuff that should be getting put out into the world, showing how you can become a better person and not just by wearing different clothes. I know it's probably been overhyped. If you haven't gotten into it, maybe that ship has sailed, and that's okay. Did you watch the old one? I watched the old one, even though it was very controversial to be watching it, and I respect them for doing it, but it was more about aesthetics, so I didn't have any emotional ties to anything happening in it really. But yeah. If you haven't been into Queer Eye, talk to me about some shows you have been watching. I've also been watching Shameless. Obviously, please do not spoil it for me. I was watching Letterkenny. Oh God, I love it so much. If you have ever wondered what my partner is like, it's basically Wayne. Darker, beardier Wayne. It has both teeth and heart. And then I'm always watching and looking for like new comedy specials and stuff. I love stand-up so much. If you have any recommendations on comedians you really like, I'm up for trying pretty much anybody. So let's hang out, drink our tea or spiked coffee, and discuss some things we would watch while we drink it. And I brought it back around, right? I mean, it's a stretch, but I brought it back. Oh, and I had to spill my boozy coffee on my dress, man. And like seconds before I started filming this, I stepped in a mountain of dog shit. The hits just keep on coming. Ah! Maybe don't break everything.